Hey, oh, what a good boy. What a good boy. Now, do you love your dog? Do you want your dog to have the best dog bowl stand you possibly can have? Well, that's why you're at this video. So, sit back, relax, enjoy the video. Hopefully you learned something. If there's anything I can learn, please leave a comment below. Let's be nice about it. But yeah, I'm about to show you guys my process for making a dog bowl stand. However, this is going to be the first time I make a 3-bowl dog bowl stand. So I'm going to be learning along the way, but I used this big brain of mine, did some math, carried some 2's, divided by 1, and hopefully I do this right and it goes according to plan. So let's get into this video and see how I do. So if you guys watched my last video, you know that I took a 2x4, which is what I have right next to me, and I ripped it in half to essentially create a 2x2. Now the reason why I like to do this is because 2x4 will essentially be a much better cut of wood. Usually I have an easier time finding better conditioned, better shaped 2x4s than I do 2x2s or 1x2s. So essentially what I want to do is take this and rip this in half, and to kind of just walk, it's a very basic step, but I figure different content. Every video, that's the point of YouTube, right? So all I did in that last video that I'm going to do today is I literally take my measuring tape, run it across the width of the board. It measures 3.5. 3.5 divided by 2, 1.75. So I'm going to just take this and mark 1.75 on my piece of wood. So now I know what the halfway point of this piece of wood is. I'm going to set my table saw to that measurement. Then I'm going to just run this right through the table saw, and I'll have my 2 pieces of 2x2. As you saw, rip those down pretty easy enough. So now I have 2 very even pieces at 1 3/4 inch thick all around. The next step, step 1, step 2, that's how numbers work. Step 2, I know that my pieces for my side rails have to be 11 inches long, and I'm gonna need 4 of those pieces. So we're gonna cut 4 11-inch pieces, and I will show you that step right now. Here we go. Time lapse now. We got part 1 of the legs made. Now we're gonna make part 2, which is what's gonna actually create our square on each side for this dog bowl stand to rest. Might sound a little confusing. It's kind of confusing for me to convey it to you guys right now, but I promise it'll make sense. Anyways, what you need to do, so this needs to be 10 inches tall. When you combine the height of these two together, 3.5 inches. So 10 minus 3.5 is 6 inches. So as you can see here, I got the legs all assembled right there. So when you take the measurement of the width of these, that's 3 inches. And now I'm factoring 3 spaces for the actual bowls that are going to be 7.5 inches, plus 2 more beams that are 1.5 inches. So all in all, those measurements come out to 25.5. So I'm going to need 4 pieces at 25.5 inches in order to essentially connect these legs together. And it may sound a little confusing, but I'm going to cut these pieces. I'm going to pocket hold these into place on the stand, and then it'll hopefully make more sense once I'm done with that. So let's do it. The finished base now completed. So these are the 25.5 inch pieces I was talking about. Now I need to do the top railing as well, and now the top is where the bowls are actually going to rest. And so what I need to do is measure every 7.5 inches, because the bowls are 8.5 inches in diameter, And in my experience so far, I've made about 3 of these. No, this is my 3rd. So I've made 2 of these. When you take the diameter of the bowl from left to right, from outer edge to outer edge, whatever that measurement is, subtract 1 inch from that, and that's what you need each of the gaps to be for the bowls to rest in. So the bowls are 8.5 inches, so every 7.5 inches is how big the gap needs to be. On the last clip, I assembled the beams to each of our posts that make our top frame, and then obviously this is where the bowls are all resting. Now, luckily the bowl that the client has is the same ones I use for my dog Blue, and so that bowl measures to 8.5 inches. So again, I subtracted 1 inch from the 8.5, so 8.5 minus 1, 7.5. I made each of these gaps here 7.5 by 7.5, and that's how the bowl rests in there ever so elegantly. And the next thing, as you can see, let me fix that. I have some wood filler in each of the areas where I use decking screws instead of the pocket holes. The reason why I use decking screws and the side braces here is because it would be a lot easier for me to just put wood filler over the top of those versus trying to get the right angle and jigging it in. So that's why I use the decking screws there, and then everything else for the framing, I use the pocket holes. And pocket holes are your best friend when it's going to be something that's not exposed. Obviously, these are down here, as you can see. And so because it's not visible to the naked eye, that's when I use my pocket holes. But for the decking, again, quick and easy assembly. Just put wood filler over it. It's like it's not even there. So I'm going to wait for this wood filler to dry. Next step is going to be sanding. And then obviously because dogs are messy and they splash around when they're eating and drinking, I'm going to put a coat of urethane on it as well. They only want a pine finish, no stain. So once this is dried, sand, we're going to urethane it, and then this will be in the books. But we'll go to that sanding in the next clip. So as you can see here, I finished up the coat of polyurethane. I just used Minwax Fast Drying Clear Satin. I'm gonna let this dry overnight, obviously. And then in the morning, everything should be good to go in the sense of ready to do the finishing touch to make sure this urethane's nice and smooth on there. And I will show you that clip in the morning, but for now, we're done. All right, guys, so it is the next morning. The urethane has dried. As you can see, everything looks nice and good. You can feel the sealer on here. Now, sometimes you'll feel a little grit from your urethane, and I actually was taught a really simple trick that it avoids, sanding with a higher grit and bringing it down that way. And it's actually just using cardboard. If you use cardboard and use it as just like a hand sander, it actually will take any and all grit away from your urethane finish. So I'm going to show you that real quick, and then this project will be done. And just like that, everything's all smooth and perfect, and this is done. Thank you guys very much for watching the video. I hope you like it. Please comment on the video, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I believe that is all the different YouTube jargon you're supposed to say in every video. Thank you again so much for watching. Stay safe during coronavirus. My thoughts and prayers are out there with everybody. And don't forget to keep God number one. I love you guys. God bless.